Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be putting the interior or center console section back into the ACTY's interior. We had removed these parts to gain access to the shifter linkage. We did that little bushing kit to eliminate the slop in the shifter. So now we're going to put the components back, but I want to do the flocking on it so it looks a little bit nicer and more high-end. I also want to add a different cup holder section than what I had, something that's a little bit more unitized, a little bit more, I want it to look like it was part of the original design. So let me show you the parts we're talking about. Alright guys, so here are the parts that we're going to be doing the flock treatment to. So this is the part of the console that is really low and attaches to the dashboard, and this would be like where the ashtray is. You could see it's discolored from, I had painted this black, but then I had to remove the adhesive from the old cup holder, and it just took out some of the paint as well. So we're going to be doing this part, and then this is how they are in the car. So this would be the shifter cover, and then that is the part that covers the parking brake and the seatbelt anchors. So one thing we're going to have to do is, the gator is easy to remove. It just has these little tabs, these little barbs, but they're soft. You just get under here and you feed them back through these little slots, and that's really easy to remove. It has a little panel here. Gonna have to also do that. For the parking brake, you got this rubber gasket here, so that's held on with 6 Phillips head screws, so that's gonna be easy to remove as well. And this is the new piece that I'm going to be installing. So this was 3D printed. It is going to be a cup holder, also a spot for you to put your keys or your phone. And the plan is to have this mount to this section. And you can see it's a lot more cleaner than what I had before, which was just like a freestanding cup holder. So right now, I'm still a little bit on the fence whether or not to do everything in black. I don't know. So I'm also gonna do this, this was my tack that I did in one of the videos, the digital tack that sits in the slot that's for the clock. My truck didn't have the clock, so I just 3D printed this based off of the cover, but this is black and it just sticks out on the gray dash. So I'm definitely gonna do this in gray, and that's why I'm debating, since I'm gonna be doing gray anyway, whether I should keep these parts in gray and that in black. So you know what, I'm gonna play it by ear. One thing, when you do this, get like a plastic bag or a piece of plastic to cover your work surface, because at the end you could recover a lot of the lost flocking material. Instead of just throwing it out, you could reuse it. So just a little tip. Okay guys, so I got the bottom sections done in the black. I haven't done this in a while, and I kind of like forgot about the technique, but a little bit of adhesive goes a long way. So when you brush it on, make sure you spread it out well enough so that you don't have runs, because what will happen is if you have too much adhesive on there, it'll just start to run, especially if you're applying it with a brush like I am, because there is a kit to spray it on. In any case, I know these look a little rough, but they will shake out. What I like to do is I like to brush it with like a carpet brush before I put it in the carpet, because if you don't get all the extra fibers out, when you drive, your truck inside is going to have all the fibers flying around. You don't want to breathe this stuff in. I did have a mishap where I dropped it when I was trying to shake off some of the excess, and I got a little blemish here and here. I touched it up with some more adhesive on top, so I'm not going to do anything to it until I see, once I have the ability to brush it off and it's dry, what it actually looks like. If it's really bad, you can redo this. You can apply the adhesive again and do the flocking again. So it's not like you're stuck with whatever finish you end up with. You could redo it. So next we're going to do the gray parts. I've decided to keep it gray since I have plenty of the fibers and I still have plenty of the adhesive. I'm also going to do these little pieces, like I said, the access panel for this guy. And I think this time I'm going to actually put the adhesive on everything, so that before I put the fibers, I could come back and see if I have runs on anything. So that's the technique, but always have your thing loaded with the fibers, your little applicator here loaded, ready to go, so that as soon as you have the glue down, you could start shooting the stuff on it. Okay, so we got our gray parts done. Now we just need to let these dry. It has been so hot and humid that I think I'm gonna leave this to dry more than just overnight. Usually overnight it's good enough, 24 hours, but I think in this case it's just so humid I'm gonna leave these for a few days before I start handling them. So gonna put these aside and come back a couple of days later and get them in the truck. Alright guys, so it's actually been a couple of weeks since I, more than a couple actually, since I last did the flocking on these console pieces. Anyway, off camera I already vacuumed them and I brushed them with this brush to get all the excess fibers off, because you don't want this stuff flying around while you're driving. So now we're going to put some of this rubber trim back on these pieces and also attach the cup holders to the center bin, or at least pre-tap the holes so that we could get that ready for installation. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is going to install this parking brake rubber gasket, I guess you could call it, that goes on this piece here. Gets mounted from behind with these 6 screws, so we'll get that on. And then we are going to put the bellows for the shifter on this piece here. Alright, so we got these on. You know, I actually didn't remember which way to put it, if it was like this way or this way, but Honda's pretty smart. They put 1 tab and 2 tabs on this side, but 1 on this one, so there's only one way to really position it. And obviously, you just feed these through and pull them in. And then for this piece, I kind of ran into the same situation where I took this apart so long ago, I didn't really remember if it was a bigger slot at the top and then the narrow one at the bottom, or vice versa. But the spacing of the screws, these are closer together than these two, so if you put it the wrong way, the holes won't line up. So pretty smart of them to do that. So these pieces are done. So now let's do the center console, which is this section here. This is the new 3D printed bin that I did, so this is gonna mount right on here. And again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn close to being like almost like a factory finish. Again, I also brushed these off camera, and had them and vacuumed them. So now I have 4 mounting holes, 2 over here and 2 on the bottom of the cup holders. So we're just gonna mark those on this piece and drill out the holes so that we could put some self-tappers in there. So I'm just gonna use a pencil to mark my hole locations. Nothing high-tech about that. And then for the top ones, I'm actually gonna already drill them because I can't get the drill into this narrow slot, but I can inside the cup holder. One down. Make sure this didn't move on me. Go. Got our 2 holes. Now we're just gonna do the ones that we marked before. Just do that again. Right. Alright, so now we're just gonna screw this on. These are the screws I'm using. They're just Phillips head self-tappers. Alright, so this is all set up. Let's get this installed in the truck. I might have to remove this again to get it installed because I don't know if this will interfere and I don't want to scuff it. So I might take this off again. I just wanted to pre-drill the holes. And then now we could go get this on the truck, as well as the other trim pieces like the little RPM reader that I have installed on the dash. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so the installation is complete. So now you can see I have the flocked door cards, but that match the headliner. And now I've done the center console, all in the same flocking material, including the little cap here. And I've 3D printed a new shifter, but I found this old this is actually a real leather shift knob from an old Infinity I used to have. It was for an automatic, but it's threaded like a stick shift knob. So I actually just cut the excess plastic off the bottom and I screwed that on, and it's leather, it's gray. It's not an exact match because this is a cool gray and that's a warm gray, it has a little brownish tones to it, but I think it's pretty nice, and it's nice because it's leather, so it doesn't get hot and melty like the factory rubber shift knob. And I've noticed that happening to the steering wheel a little bit, especially on hot days. It just starting to get a little gummy. It's not falling apart or anything, but maybe a new steering wheel is in the future cards. Anyway, also did the little makeshift RPM gauge that I made. I had that done in the flocking material. The reason was that was just 3D printed black plastic, so I wanted to at least make it gray, and instead of painting it, I just did that. Now a lot of you have commented about 3D printed parts in PLA are not going to last, and it's true. PLA is not UV resistant, so what you need to do is you're going to need to either paint it with a UV resistant paint, or in this case, the glue that holds the flocking material is basically an epoxy glue, so it's going to be pretty tough in there. So this I did in the black velour. You could see it kind of looks like OEM. And I am gonna get some different screws. I'm gonna get countersunk black screws so that doesn't stick out like that. But you could see it's kind of hard to film, but you could see the ACTY logo in there. It's kind of muted because it's matte black on matte black. But yeah, so you're gonna have a place here for your wallet, your phone, and then you have the 2 cup holders. And this other piece I added. So this is 3D printed in TPU, which is a flexible rubberized material, and I did these like fingers here that will move out of the way for larger containers, and I have these little barbs here or tabs that will lock into these holes here. See the holes, hole there, and what I do is that way when you pull out your bottle, if it's a tight fit in there, this insert doesn't come attached with it. So I'm just gonna pop that in place until it snaps. There you go. Make sure those are in there. And there you go. Now I have an insert for that will hold drinks tightly so that they don't flop around on corners. And if I want to, I could just rip that out as well. So that's basically it. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. A word of advice, I actually had a, I'm gonna say 3-4 week period from doing the painting, the flocking, to the components, to actually putting them in the car. And one of the things I did not do was pay attention to where I put all the hardware. So one of the reasons it took me so long to get this back in, other than life getting in the way and the weather, is also because I couldn't find the screws, the little screws that hold all the interior trim pieces together. And I realized then I had left it in the old cup holder that I removed, but it actually just dawned on me that's where they were, and I finally was able to finish and complete this project. So hope this helps out some of you. Ideally, I think if you're in the mood and you want to take out the whole dashboard, I think that will look really nice. It'll just bring it up to another level, and just do the whole dashboard so everything is in that material. And other than that, it just brings the interior trim up a little, just a notch, But anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time.
Ryan Little.